Hello, welcome all of you. I'm Madhusudan Soni. I'm taking the course on operations research, game theory. In this course, I'll be taking you through various terms used in the game theory in the sense of payoff strategies, two-person games, zero-sum games, etc., etc. Now let's go to a game. Now see here there is a game. Written on the screen is a game. Player A and player B, can you see these two terms written here? Player A and player B. Player A and player B are two players in this game. The strategies available with player A are called as A1, A2, A3, A1, A2, A3, and they're reflected here. The strategies available with player B are called as B1, B2, B3, B4, and they are reflected here. So the rows A1, A2, A3 are A's strategies, and columns B1, B2, B3, B4 are B's strategies. Now, what we are talking about is how the games are played in a complex situation. Like, see, let's consider a duopolistic situation. In India and everywhere, the two-player games are very important in the sense they are the simplest form of the games. In the game theory, they are the simplest forms of the games. It's possible to study it to a great extent by studying what are the saddle points, what is the rule of dominance, what is the modified rule of dominance, etc. We'll go through all of that. But before that, let's define this game as player A versus player B. That means we are necessarily talking about a two-player game. Okay, a two-player game. So we are talking about a two-player game. So or two-person game. So I'm putting a tick mark on this two-person game. In our game, there are only two competitors. Like say in India, we have Pepsi and Coke, a duopolistic situation. Pepsi and Coke are the manufacturers of soft drinks world over. And in many places, they are the only soft drink manufacturers or the main soft drink manufacturers, I would say. So Pepsi and Coke, if we take, now what is player A? Player A could be Pepsi, player B could be Coke, or player A could be Coke, player B could be Pepsi. And these are payoffs. Okay. Now, in our game, remember, for simplicity, we are assuming that there are only two players. These two players are such that they're competing against each other. That means whatever is A's gain is equal to B's loss. Whatever A gains, B loses the same amount. Okay. It's like this. In a game of chess, if A wins, B loses. Okay. Fine. And if A gets something like 6 points, B loses 6 points in that game. Okay. So here also, what we are doing is payoffs. What are payoffs? Payoffs are the numbers written inside this matrix. See, these are payoffs. Okay. Now, for example, let's see the A1 row. So far as player A is concerned, he has three strategies, A1, A2, A3. Player A has three strategies, A1, A2, A3, corresponding to strategies A1. Strategy A1. What are the payoffs? It is indicated in the A1 row as 500, 260, 200, 210. These are the payoffs resulting from a player A's strategy being A1. Okay, fine. What does it mean? Now, for example, A1, B1, if you see the intersection of strategy A1 with B1, the number indicated is 500. Okay, the number indicated is 500. What this means is, if player A uses strategy A1 and player B uses strategy B1, the resultant payoff is 500 monetary units to player A. Okay, so all the payoffs are written from the point of view of player A. Player B's payoffs are expected to be or supposed to be exactly negative of that of player A. In other words, if A gains 500, B loses 500. If A gains $500, B loses $500. Okay, fine. So similarly, A1 strategy brings A gains of 500, 260, 200, 210. So player A is thinking, now see, there are various assumptions made in the game theory. One assumption is that it's a two-person game, as I have already explained. It's a zero-sum game. That means whatever A gains, B loses. Okay, fine. Now, another assumption, important assumption, is that both players know about this payoff matrix. So they are fully aware that if I do this and if player B does this, this is the payoff. So the payoff matrix is known to both the players. And now, given the payoff matrix, we have to find out which strategy player A should play and which strategy player B should play. Okay, so we'll come to that in the next class. Okay. Thank you for the time being.